United Forces of Change worshipping turned into crossfire. United Forces of Change is a collaboration of different political parties in Uganda which have decided to move under one umbrella or under one cause in some of the aspects that one may call partnership when it comes into politics. But these different parties, FDC, JEMA, DP, and others, had organized a worshipping day on 30th December 2022 at Shearing Hall in Zambia, which a junta or a dictator decides that he is the only person to tell when and where the worship should take place. Youth, the young ones, and elderly people had moved together, and others had used different means of transport to reach this particular place. But unfortunately, reaching there, the police and the military had already organized their troops and had already covered the whole place. So people were so surprised and they could not really know what exactly could take place or what next should be done. Many had to stay standing for a while when that place, Sharing Hall in Zambia, was well paid. It had well been booked and the police knew it very well. But unfortunately, the regime is the one to decide when and who should carry out worshiping God in this country, Uganda. Therefore, we call upon Ugandans not to sleep, because if the right that you're born with of worshiping your Creator is at a standstill where a dictator is the one to decide what to be done, then it means the more you will sleep, the more you will suffer consequences that comes with long stay in power. So the dictator is the one to decide who should carry out prayers. Uh, Onto this story, it is within Kampala business district. True, uh, different roads were blocked for people who were passing there. They could not be allowed to access that premise of Sharing Hall in Zambia, just some few kilometers from the main city center. But youth, elderly, and those that are wish to see change in this country decided to look for all possible means to see that they can reach this particular place. I'm very thankful for those that managed to reach there. Uh, you can as well see they were in thousands of these people who want to see change coming to the country, so that they can be out of corruption, embezzlement, tribalism, nepotism, and all kind of abduction, killing, and imprisonment that is the order of the day. Men are really looking at these prayers as part and parcel of what can help them to overcome this. Many of the leaders in different political parties, FDC, um, DP, GEMA, NUP, and other opposition political party, the leaders had to come also to join the crowd. Many are here, you can see they had reached the ground. Continuing here, you can see many of the people, ladies, gentlemen, the youth mainly, were very many onto this one ground, sharing all in Zambia. You can see the flags of different political parties, are trying to be waved into the skies of Kampala because people are yearning for this change. Uh, on to reaching many of these political heads also decided to come and join the people that had gathered there. We can as well observe Dr. Kizza Besigye. We can observe His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu. We can see Chairman Nyanzi Davis Lubongoya. We can see Nyanjura behind the president. You can as well observe Senyonyi, Waisa Mufumbiro, and other group leaders of different places around Kampala and other districts that make up Uganda. Many had come. We can see the journalists well prepared for the prayers. These prayers were conducted on this neutral ground because this is not a church, this is not a mosque, but it's a place that can be used to do a lot of events. So you can choose a place like this one to handle or to take such different people into or onto one occasion. So you can as well see Dr. Kizza Besigye there, His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi, can see Kenny Luchams on the ground. Very many of these leaders were there. Being that it's a sharing hall, we had to share, though we are from different religious backgrounds, but unfortunately, the government did not allow these players to take place because, in one way or the other, they think they are the ones to decide what should be done and when. However much it's your right, we can see that very many were present into this one occasion. Unfortunately, the ground was ganged up by the military, beating people, not even caring about the children, not caring about the elderly, but they would beat whoever they can get. So the teams decided to carry the prayers behind the sharing hall grounds onto the gate. That's where we are right there. You can see the flags on top of those leaders carrying out the prayers. The prayers were done successfully amidst tear gas and bullets. Many could run out up and down, but those who know how to protect these leaders, they did their best, and they protected until the words were given out. We continue to see, to the end of the day, many people were flagging around, and crowds were flowing from different parts of Mitiana. You can see Zake there. A lot of these leaders were there. So onto that, we can see that the, the regime decided to deploy military to come and start fighting the people who were doing their subject of praising God and worshipping and talk to their God about the regime that is endemic to everyone. What I adjusted into the next times, we can see that the leaders were chased away from these premises, and they decided to be very polite and jumped onto their vehicles, and they were still blocked from using different roads from that place. This one you can see it's close to the Arena Mall, just to use Mukwano Road behind Australia. You can see the place, you can see the very many people around there. continued in between Mukwano and Yard or Electoral Commission. They had to cut off roads and start beating people, starting throwing tear gas, bullets, and the situation was very tense. But still, many people decided to continue escorting their leaders until they're out of this chaos. They continued to be successfully onto that first lane and joined Yard Ginger Road, Kampala, reaching between Electoral Commission and ShopRite. That's when another battle or the crossfire again happened. Many of our comrades were arrested, beaten, undressed, and all brutal things that you can talk about. They continue to go and beat even leaders, MPs, chairpersons of different places were all brutalized. You can see the army, instead of keeping peace, but they were destructing peace amidst the principles that are governing this country. Here you continue to see that many people were beaten, arrested, their clothes were torn, the moods changed from what exactly could mean worshipping God into blood situation. You can see that gentleman being beaten several times onto the hands and the head, and he was bleeding. Then we want to ask whether worshipping God still we have to get a license from the junta or the dictator, the general, as he calls himself. We continue to see very many of our comrades being arrested. As you can see that chart, all those guys were arrested on that single day, and others, their belongings were not even known up to now. Though we are still carrying out to close check who was not come back, who was gone missing. We're trying to close check so far. Very many guys have lost the election, and many are sick. Others have been beaten seriously. Others are in hospitals, as you may continue to see through social media and other platforms. We can as well say we have got a list of those that have been arrested, as you could look into those names throughout. You might be having your loved ones or your relatives being under that brutal attack that was made to people who had gone to carry out prayers. So, worshipping God in Uganda has turned to be also another problem. We had thought that this was the only thing that was left to all Ugandans, but still today, if you've not gone to their churches that they planted, then worshipping God cannot be a safe column that you could rely on. But we want to call upon all Ugandans to stand, not sleep, raise up, raise up, raise up to chase this regime that will leave not only us suffering but even our children, our grandchildren. Look at how land is being robbed. Look at how the economy has been distracted. The school fees is really hiked because the schools are theirs. Look at the situation of our hospitals. Look into the food that we eat onto the plates. We don't have what to eat. We have poor roads. People are sick. Extremely no security everywhere, apart from those who have guns killing citizens and robbing them. The failed state can only be solved by we Ugandans, no any other person that has our time to come and cover up. This is our mess that made the way back 40 years back, but we have to come and solve this problem together. So I call upon all Ugandans not to sleep. Uganda is bleeding.